GCMMA coming to you this week with our Taira versus Alex Perez card breakdowns. Guys, I don't really give a fuck that they just signed that new hot Asian guy. If that's an excuse to make Taira the main event when he doesn't have a ranked win in the UFC, that'd be like the UFC signing a turd and making my butt crack the main event.
Yeah, I mean, they just basically just threw this card together. They're like, oh, we gotta meet this fucking deadline, get this card together, so let's just throw it together.
There's like one fucking ranked fighter on this entire card.
Yeah, this should realistically not even exist as a card. And these Japanese guys, like, they have never really impressed me at all. Nothing against Japanese people or whatever, but whenever I see a Japanese fighter on a card, I'm like, oh wait, that's gonna be a good fight. Like, no, I'm just like, all right, it's just another Asian guy. But hopefully, you know, like this new Asian guy they signed comes in and runs some absolutely like raw shit, so we have a new fan base to start watching UFC. Like, it's always a good thing when UFC.
Yeah, we want to see the sports growing, boys. Like, we don't have anything against any select group of people, like even French people. You know, it's good for them if they're watching UFC, they're making the sport grow, but their fucking fighters just suck. And unfortunately, there's just certain demographics of fighters that just aren't really meant to be fucking fighters.
Yeah, we'll get into that in another video, but
guys, starting off the card, we've got Costa versus Nurdin Biki. Guys, I'm gonna have to go with Costa. I think he was doing pretty good in his grappling against Steve Garcia before he got knocked out. I think he was doing pretty good until he got like rocked like that. And the other guy, they both got knocked out by Steve Garcia. I just think that Costa, he has the ability to grapple in this fight and make it to a decision and win it pretty convincingly. So I don't know much about either of these fighters, but I'll have to go with Costa just for that reason.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I wouldn't put any money on this fight, to be honest, boys. Like, but since we're just predicting the fights, I'm predicting Costa to win, to use his grappling to take the fight to decision. I hope he gets a submission just so we can move on with the fights on this card, but I'm going to go Costa here, boys.
Next fight, guys, we got Weston Wilson, Jaka Saragi. Guys, this is a pretty fucking tricky fight because Weston Wilson absolutely sucks. Like, he's not a UFC fighter. I like my chances against Weston Wilson in a fist fight. But the other guy got knocked out by fucking Jubilee. When you're getting knocked out by an Indian guy,
guys, Jubilee lost the fight because Breeden started barking at him. He got scared because a fighter was barking at him, and he was literally winning the fight.
Mike Breeden.
If a guy like that is knocking you out, that's something to be concerned about. But if this was any other fighter he was fighting, I would pick the other guy, but he's fighting Weston Wilson.
Guys, oh my goodness. I'm gonna give Jaka Saragi out as one of the locks of this week.
Holy shit.
There is no way that Weston Wilson is winning a fight inside of the UFC.
Boys, that's how you know how fucked Weston Wilson is, that we're giving that guy out as a lock. Like, we predicted Weston Wilson to get brutally KO'd in his last fight, and that's exactly what happened. And Gene Silva made us a fan.
Guys, moving on to the next fight, we've got Josh Quinlan versus Adam Fugit. I'll let you go and start with this one, bro, because we might be having differing opinions on this one.
I'm honestly gonna go Adam Fugit. I mean, just because I cannot trust Josh Quinlan to do it, like to finish the fight or to win a decision. I mean, Adam Fugit, don't get me wrong, he's not like, I wouldn't call him like a hot prospect or anything, but
oh my god, bro,
I feel like he's definitely a better fighter than Josh Quinlan. Josh
What?
Quinlan sucks.
Boys, I'm gonna have to go with Josh Quinlan in this one.
Come on, bro.
I know his fight against Danny Barlow ended in him getting finished, but if I look at getting fucked up, rocked, and getting up like 2 or 3 times before getting finished versus Adam Fugit getting finished in the first round by someone who got finished by Neil Magny and Mike Mallet. Guys, I'm not saying Josh Quinlan's a lock. I'm not saying he can't lose this fucking fight. But if I'm picking between someone who gets fucked up and gets back up and fights for a couple more rounds before they ultimately get finished versus someone who's getting finished in the first round by Mike Mallet, I've got to go Josh Quinlan here, guys. I feel like he's got some sort of samurai power or some shit because he's got his friend up on the main event in this fight. I feel like he's coming out to prove some shit, and I'm going to have to go with Josh Quinlan.
Yeah, I mean, that. Don't get me wrong, losing to Mike Mallet is fucked, but I will just have to say that before the Neil Magny fight, Mike Mallet was a big prospect in that division. Like, a lot of people were talking about him, hyping him up, and yeah, the shit with Neil Magny sucked because Mike Mallet was ultimately fraud checked in that fight, but I just think Adam Fugit's like the more well-rounded fighter, and I think he can get it done here, but it'll be interesting to see this fight because I think it's going to be ridiculous either way.
Boys, moving on, we got Nate Maynes versus Jimmy Flick.
Jimmy Flick sucks. Just because he beat Malcolm Gordon doesn't mean anything. He was getting his ass kicked for 99% of that fight, and he won 1% of that fight to get that submission. Like, guys, Malcolm Gordon should not be kicking the shit out of you. Like, you're going to lose this fight, Jimmy Flick. I honestly am surprised. Well, you won, but I'm honestly surprised you didn't retire after that win because of how...
Go out on a good note.
Yeah, go out on a good note. You just suck.
Guys, I'm not even going to try to act like Nate Maynes is like the fucking champion of the division or something. I just can't pick someone whose last name is Flick. Like, what are you, flicking a booger or some
flicking
shit?
him off your shoulder
Yeah.
like he's a fly or
I'm
something.
flicking you off. Fuck Jimmy Flick, to be real.
Slipping Jimmy.
Nate Maynes, I don't even know anyone he's fought. I don't even know anyone who Jimmy Flick has fought besides Malcolm Gordon. But if your name is number one, fuck off with that. And your last name is Flick. Like you're shitting in your hand and flicking it at a fucking monkey or something. Alright, boys, next fight. Josh Van versus Tagir Ulanbekov. Boys, this is a tricky fight because I really am a big Josh Van supporter. I do like the fact he's like a young and up-and-coming prospect who's done well in his fights. But against Tagir Ulanbekov, boys, I just feel like this is a bit of a step up in competition. And I'm just saying this, boys, Josh Van, if there's any way that you ever happen to see this video, I'd be down to have beers with you sometime, hang out with you sometime. Like, if I see you, I'm asking for a picture. Like, I really am a fan and a supporter of you. But if I'm logically picking this fight, I just don't know if he's going to be able to beat someone who has the wrestling. Because with Josh Van, he's the type of guy, like you saw it against Felipe Bunes and Borjas. He was getting rocked by Borjas in the first fight, and like in the first round. And it was like as the fight went on, he was like adding up damage and shit. When you're fighting someone who has the takedowns, like the gear, you're not really going to be able to build shit up when they're grabbing on you and you're having to worry about shit like that. Like, I just, I'm kind of pissed off that they did my boy Josh Van like this and gave him this matchup because I just don't think it's very good. But boys, I'm going to have to go with Ulanbekov in this.
Yeah, boys, when this fight got announced, because I know Josh Van was supposed to fight somebody else. I think that the guy that's in the main event, right? He was supposed to fight whatever.
Tatsuro Taira.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight him, and the fight got switched up last minute. At first, I was going to pick Josh Van, but when I sat and thought about it, Josh Van is... I'm a fan of him. Like, I really like Josh Van. He's a good prospect, but he hasn't looked as dominant as I would like him to look in his last fights against like people like Kevin Borjas, like
and Felipe Bunes.
I feel like he should have been a little bit like he definitely beat them. Like there's no
He should have smoked them in a round.
he should have smoked them.
If we're trusting him against someone with the wrestling pedigree.
Exactly.
So, boys, like we said, don't get it fucked up. We do like Josh Van, but Tagira Umbekov is
probably wrestle fucking honing them down and just win the fight by that. That's what I see happening.
Boys, next fight, we've got Garrett Armfield and Brady Heastand. If you aren't familiar with Brady Heastand, he's the guy who lost the Ultimate Fighter finale to Ricky Tercios. Boys, I'm going to have to go with Garrett Armfield. Garrett Armfield had a good fight against Brad Katona where he won that shit. He had a good fight against whatever Asian guy he knocked out. The only fight Garrett Armfield has lost in the UFC was against David Onama where he was up a weight class. I feel like Garrett Armfield can knock Brady Heastand out.
Yeah.
Guys, Ricky Tercios is getting submitted by a 19-year-old in the UFC, and Brady Heastand couldn't do a fucking thing to him. Has Ricky Tercios even won another fight in the fucking UFC besides Brady Heastand? You're getting beat by a guy who beats nobody. Dude, Brady Heastand is getting knocked the fuck out by Garrett Armfield this weekend. You can mark my words on that shit.
Yeah, and we predicted Garrett Armfield to beat Brad Katona's ass when they in his last fight when Garrett Armfield was an underdog. Like
Garrett Armfield is kind of raw, guys. Like I feel like he really could put Brady Heastand away in this shit.
Yeah, Brady Heastand is definitely. I wouldn't even say Brady Heastand is a worse fighter than Brad Katona is, and Garrett Armfield beat him.
Yeah,
so like
that's honestly facts.
That's a valid point, boys, and Garrett Armfield is definitely the pick in this fight.
Boys, without further ado, we're getting to the main card, and we're starting off with Asu Almabayev versus Jose. I'm 6 foot, 125 pounds Johnson. Guys, I'm going with the fucking Kazakhstani fighter and Asu Almabayev. Guys, I know it's kind of hard to imagine this, but imagine you're fucking 6 foot, right? Like, that's pretty tall. The average human being is not 6 foot. You're tall as fuck, and you're 125 pounds.
Like, do you guys even know anybody who's 6 foot and 125 pounds?
Guys, I'm not even that big, and I would have to cut like damn near 70 pounds to be 125. How fucking light can you go? Like, I don't give a fuck if he's got the height advantage and shit over Asu Almabayev. He's tall and he's gonna be skinny as shit. He is definitely losing this fight. I'm giving Almabayev out as another lock of this week.
You know this guy is decayed from his fucking weight cut in every fight. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no way he's walking around anywhere close to 125. Like, he's definitely has to cut a lot of weight to make 125. And I mean, if he thinks that gives him the advantage in this division,
Power to him.
Power to him, but eventually one day his chin is gonna get touched and he's gonna go out because he fucking cut 50 pounds in a week or some shit.
Yeah, guys. I mean that's just pretty ridiculous to be that big of a fucking weight bully.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not even like you're 6 foot at 135. You're 6 foot at 125. Guys, boys. Miles Johns versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. I'm gonna have to go with Douglas Silva de Andrade. Miles Johns is getting submitted by fucking John Castaneda. I'm not. I just can't, guys. There's nothing in my mind that can justify that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, boys, do not bet on this fucking fight. Like, this fight is ridiculous, and it's one of the reasons like why I question how this card even got made. Like, this fight kind of sucks, but
38-year-old Brazilian versus guy who got submitted by John Castaneda.
I'm gonna have to take the 38-year-old Brazilian, bro. He's probably on PEDs since USADA left. Like, he's probably juiced and trying to run some shit.
Boys, Lucas Almeida versus Timothy Kwamba. Guys, I'm going to have to go Timothy Kwamba. If you're getting knocked out in the first round by Andre Touchy-Feely, I fuck with Touchy-Feely, but he doesn't knock anybody out these days. And you're knocking out Lucas Almeida. Timothy Kwamba had a very competitive fight. I fell against Oki or Aki or whatever. Let's get it the Aki way. Or whatever.
Don't forget the Bev. Face ass.
If you're losing to that fucking guy, guys, you're not beating, like, you're not gonna fucking be anything in the division. But I really feel like he might be more in the division than Lucas Almeida. So a short and sweet Timothy Kwamba. I know he's like a younger guy, less experienced, and in his fucking picture he looks like he's like got a double bubble chewing in his fucking
Bro's
mouth.
been mewing.
Yeah.
Bitch. He's here to mog Lucas Almeida.
Boys, let's go Lucas or Timothy Kwamba. Alright, boys, this is gonna be the quickest one of the fucking night. Ikram Aliskerov versus Antonio Tricoli.
Antonio Broccoli.
It may as well fucking be. Guys, I feel like Ikram Aliskerov might turn this motherfucker into a vegetable. He may as well be Antonio Broccoli.
Real shit, I mean...
Ikram Aliskerov is going to fuck this guy up.
Shout out that guy for stepping into this fight short notice, but he just signed his fucking grave, his tombstone.
The shit I just don't understand is how are they doing Ikram Aliskerov versus Paulo Costa? It's getting canceled, and they're doing Ikram Aliskerov versus Antonio Tricoli. Are they giving up on Ikram as a fucking prospect?
I heard that Tricoli's Mackenzie Dern's boyfriend. Like, really? This guy's about to get fucked up, and Mackenzie Dern's gonna be in the corner like, go, come on, you can do this. And he's gonna get fucked up.
Guys,
I don't want to see any more of Mackenzie Dern than I have to, so we got Ikram Aliskerov KO.
Just because you can date Mackenzie Dern does not mean you can fucking fight. I'm definitely going Ikram Aliskerov on this. Guys, I might bet my sibling's life,
bro,
to Watto and like the fucking Phantom Menace, who's the fucking yeah, Annie, or some shit, guys. I might bet everything I fucking have. No pod racers were too slaves. You got the boy or the mother. You got Jedi mind tricks. You took the boy. That shit, guys.
The plus 300.
You cannot take the main event and the parlay. That's too much. I make sure they parlay to the Tuscan Raiders.
Bro!
Guys, I've got Ikram Aliskerov. Alright, boys. Moving on to the fucking main event, boys. Alex Perez versus Tatsuro Taira. Alex Perez versus Tatsuro Taira. Guys, do I really give a fuck about Tatsuro Taira's
samurai?
Yeah, he applied to be a samurai and didn't make the fucking cut. Boys, I can understand it. Look, no, like Wake said, Daniel, if you're watching this video, I fuck with you, bro. You know, you're Asian. I don't know if you're Japanese or whatever the fuck you are.
Nah, but for real, bro.
Boys, if you're fucking Asian, I have nothing against you guys. I'm just saying it's a very, very bad track record. There's never been an Asian champion in the UFC. I can't pick you guys in these high stakes fights. There's really no logical reason why Tatsuro Taira should be the main event in this. I get it. Guys, I do not fuck with Alex Perez. But the fact, bro, like, honestly, he really fucking surprised me against Mateus Nicolau.
We definitely capped on his
He fucking chinned Nicolau. And I feel like this Asian guy, like, you're minus 200. What are you going to do?
Alex Perez is the underdog?
He's like plus 150.
What the fuck?
Guys, Alex
Holy
Perez.
shit.
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, like, this Asian guy has not given us a reason to pick him against Alex Perez.
In a 5-round fight.
Alex Perez, we definitely got on him in previous videos, but he proved us wrong, and he ran that shit against Nicolau. And I just think there's levels to, like, fighting. Like, Alex Perez is more experienced. He's fought way better opponents, has wins against better opponents. And I think that Tatsuzo Taira was supposed to fight Josh Van on the prelims of a
now
pay-per-view.
he's getting a main event against a top 10 opponent. Guys, I wouldn't even bet on this fight. This card is kind of fucked, period, to bet on. But don't bet on this fight because I know there's a lot of hype behind Tatsuro Taira because his last fight was a decision win against somebody. But it's like, guys, come on. Sometimes there's just these guys and the fucking main event is just not justified. But guys, that being said, wanted to bring you this quick video. Taira versus Perez. Full card breakdown. Boys, be responsible this weekend with the betting and with the drinking. Whatever the fuck you guys do, make sure you boys have a good time. But for us, be responsible. Boys, that's GCMMA out.